The concept of Shiva is a very unique concept in the Hindu pantheon. It's not a new concept, it's an old concept which has been there from the beginning of this civilization in this country. Now it's a unique concept because that's the only god in the whole of the Hindu system of gods and goddesses who is meditating. People always ask, why is God meditating? Only deity who is sitting cross-legged in Padmasana or Siddhasana with closed eyes and meditating. In fact, it was very late that the Padmasana began to be called a Buddha posture because it is actually an ancient Shiva posture. And if you look at the whole picture of Shiva sitting on Kailash mountain, clad with snow completely, absorbed in his own wonderful state, with his physical eyes closed, but with the eye of wisdom open. This is the concept of Shiva. And among all the gods and goddesses that we have today, with respect due to all, there is only one manifestation of Vishnu who is sitting cross-legged and meditating. Badrinarayan, where Nara and Narayana are doing tapasya, sitting with crossed legs. Apart from that, the only main god who sits in meditation is Shiva. So we can presume that the yogis, whoever established the worship at Badrinarayan, brought the concept of Shiva into Vaishnavism and put up Badrinarayan there as a concept of Shiva, sitting in meditation. Now the word Shiva, nobody simply says Shiva, they always says Om Namah Shivaya. That means Om, I bow down to Shiva. Om, you all know what Om is. It is the pranava. It is the word which is put before every mantra. It is that which gives energy to all mantras. And as far as the energy of it goes, a constant chanting of Om brings about a certain change in one's psyche. The easiest way to meditate is to quietly, not very loudly, but together, make a chanting of the sound of Om. If you chant Om and give stress on the last part, which is Ma, then the vibration itself that is produced inside and outside is enough to absorb the mind in meditation. Why meditate? So that you come face to face with Shivam. Now, why I am saying this is because the last part of Om, which is the sound of Ma, is the beginning of the word Maheshwara. So, in the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, Maheshwara is put at the end and considered to be the destroyer. Creation, preservation, destruction. Now, from the point of view of the yogis, who Shiva represents? In the lineage of the Nath Panth, the first teacher is supposed to be Adinath. Adinath is none other than Shiva himself, Sadashiva, concept of Sadashiva. And from the point of view of the yogic system of thought, destruction is the beginning of creation. and I'm trying to connect. And Om, the last word Ma of Om, is the beginning of that distraction. Now when you say distraction, don't think of distraction in a terrible way. If you have a building which is 100 years old, if you want to put something new up there, you have to first dismantle it. If you don't dismantle it, there is no space, there is no place, there is no new building. And if you watch nature, the whole circle of nature is one Om. Begins with new leaves come, that is the A. Now they are existing, which is U. And then one day they will dry and fall down, this is Ma. If they don't dry and fall down, you will not get space for any new leaves up there. So this cycle of creation, preservation and destruction is a constant cycle, of which the turning point is the destruction of the old and the beginning of the new. And that is represented by Shiva, which is why Shiva is symbolized as sitting high up in the mountains, not interested in any of the ordinary activities of life, absorbed in the inner consciousness of which he is represented, because in the word Shivam in Sanskrit means auspiciousness, and Sada Shivam means endless auspiciousness, always auspicious. So if you think that destruction is auspicious, it means destruction so that something new is created, something auspicious is created, otherwise we will be stuck with the old. So this constant renewal process which goes on in the body every hour, hundreds of cells are going. We don't see it. When we bathe, they come out. And hundreds of cells are being created every day. That process is Shivam. And why it's called auspiciousness is because when one has touched the inner core of one's consciousness, which is represented by Shiva, because he's a symbol of a yogi sitting in the mountains with his eyes closed, absorbed in deep meditation, with a snake round his head, and when physical eyes closed and the jnana drishti, which is called the third eye, open. It means opening of the jnana drishti, which means opening of understanding, of intuition, of wisdom. It means if all your attention is put into one thing, everywhere you will find that Shivam, that energy moving constantly, which is full of bliss, which is why it is called Shivam. The understanding of this itself is blissful, which is why Shiva is represented as sitting there, cross-legged in meditation, and the snake represents the primeval energy which is functioning in every human body, which when activated makes one understand what Shivam is. So here the concept of Shiva is auspiciousness in its original form, not auspiciousness as we think it is. For us, what is auspicious? If I get a new job, it is auspicious. If I get a new garment, it is auspicious. If I wear new jewelry, it is auspicious. If I have a new child, new child means a child, it is auspicious. All this is what we think is auspicious. Now here it is upside down, topsy-turvy. Here auspiciousness begins with the dismantling until the pure truth is left in its absolute purity. This is Shiva. Now, if one reaches there, or if one understands this process and begins to understand what Shivam is, then one is also moving closer to that energy which is performing all these actions. So one is freeing oneself slowly from the limitations of being an individual human being. That's all.